Hi there, it's Candyss Bryant with Realty Texas, your neighborhood realtor, back with more tips, tricks, and strategies in regards to your buying, selling, and leasing process, and always striving to give you 100% and then some. Today, we want to talk about, should you buy a house now? That's the question on a lot of people's minds. So we know interest rates are going up, and that this was in a reaction to the CPI index, or the CPI number announcement in September. CPI is the Consumer Price Index, right? Stocks started to sell off, mortgage rates increased. In fact, the current average mortgage rate is 7.07%. That's what I saw it as this morning, according to the Mortgage News Daily. And just 1 month ago, the average was 6.3%. So as we know it, it's much more expensive to buy in October than it was in September, let alone what it was in January of 2022. In fact, if I hear one more time a colleague say, marry the rate, or marry the house, date the rate, I think my head is going to explode, because I feel like it's really insensitive and lacks compassion for the home buyers today. For home buyers right now at this moment in time, we have lots of first-time home buyers or home buyers in the market that do not have the historical experience or perspective with higher rates. They've never experienced 8%, 10%, 12% rates. Not to say we're going to get that to that place. When we talk about date the rate, people are saying, oh, don't worry about it, just date that rate. But this is a moment in time that we should acknowledge with sensitivity. We should be talking to folks from a layer of sensitivity in regards to what's happening. So to quickly put it in perspective, on average, a $400,000 home is approximately $700 more expensive right now than it was in January. So that's causing a lot of households to have to re-examine their budget, right? So I want to make sure that you understand what is coming ahead of us. Now, the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, gave a speech in September. I can't remember the exact date, but during that speech, he said that they are going to be using all of the tools to forcefully reduce demand and inflation by bringing into better balance demand and supply. Okay, he said, and this is quoting, reducing inflation, right? Reducing inflation will most likely require sustained periods of below trend growth. Right? And he addressed the softening labor conditions and how this process will most likely bring pain to households and businesses. Okay, so let's just break that apart a little bit. That's a lot to take in. So a few things that he said. Number one is that we're going to have below trend growth. Now notice that he didn't say that the market's crashing. He didn't say that this is the worst thing ever. He said that we're going to have below trend growth. And we're seeing that in the marketplace right now. Prices aren't falling. They're just not growing at the exponential rates that they were before. So our houses still have appreciation. They're kind of normalizing a bit. We're talking about more in the 2 to 4% range, rather than what we were experiencing was 20, 30, 40% growth. All right. Number two is he talked about softening labor conditions. Now that's a fancy way of saying that we could probably see layoffs, right? And so as we're going into the months ahead, that's one of the things we'll want to keep an eye on in what's happening in the marketplace. Are we starting to see those layoffs? For those of you who are watching that are in the Central Texas, Austin area, all of these tech companies move to the area. And as there's a softening, are we seeing the trends and layoffs starting to happen as we go through the fourth quarter and then into the first quarter of 2023. That's not to say that's long-term softening, it's just softening right now. And number three, he mentioned, and this is a little bit hard to take in, is that there's going to be pain to households and businesses. So, all of those conditions combined, the higher prices, the softening of the labor market, and the things that are going to be going on, is that we should expect to feel this pain and this stretch within our households and personal businesses. So, what does this mean for you? All right. So, if you're in the housing market right now, you'll want to make sure that your job is secure. All right. So, if you're out there, you are looking to purchase a house, you want to make sure that your job is secure. And since the CPI came in high in September, there is an expectation that the Fed will continue to raise rates until they see that supply and demand reaching a better balance, right? If you can afford a home right now with those rising rates, this can be a great time to buy. So historically, when these trends happen, this can be a great time to buy. The adage really does come true. You're gonna fall in love with the house. That rate would hopefully be short term, and it's a period of time, and then you'd be able to refinance and put yourself in a better position later. We're starting to see not necessarily home values falling, but we're starting to see the list prices coming down. Well, we've been seeing that that's trending now for the past couple of months. So that's good news for the home buyer. If you can afford it, this is a great time to buy. If you have to buy, you will be fine in the long term, right? The market is all about correction. You'll be fine in the long term if you have to buy. So when I say have to buy, I mean you're not jubilantly going out and hitting the market, but you are in a position maybe that you're transitioning to a different city, or you're experiencing some household trauma and you have to go out and you're in the housing market. You will be okay in the long run. You should not feel rushed to buy in this market. Okay, so don't make rushed decisions. Talk with your lenders, ask lots of questions, understand the programs that are out there. Keep an eye on the interest rates and what's happening, but just don't feel rushed. So if you are buying, so if you're one of those that you're like, yes, I'm in the market to buy, I want to share a couple of things with you. Number one, consider having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in your reserves, right? We're talking after down payments and after closing costs, 3 to 6 months of complete living expenses. One of the main reasons households go through foreclosure is major life circumstance that reduces income, like a loss of a job, a major illness, divorce, or other household traumas. So number two, I want you to consider protect yourself. What does that mean? Make sure you're planning to stay 5 to 7 years. In the market conditions right now, planning to stay 5 to 7 years is going to give you a great opportunity to be able to have equity in the house and be able to move along. And also stay under 35% for your home expenses, 35% of your take-home pay for your home expenses. I'm sorry, I got my tongue twisted. So I'm going to do another video next week that helps provide tips and pointers about what's happening within the mortgage industry right now, about mortgage points, and how you can navigate those mortgage waters. If you liked or appreciated anything that you heard in the video today, please subscribe to my channel. Let other people know that you're getting great tips and tricks from Candyss, and let me know what you think. If you have any questions, write them in the comments below or contact me at the info on the screen. I provided some useful links for you below, and I just want you to have as much information as possible to make informed decisions. We'll talk to you next